The Weaponization of a Word by Ru of House of Keperu. You know, one of the greatest powers humanity has ever discovered was never gold, never armies, never politics. It was the power to define. Because the moment you define something, you begin influencing how people feel about it. Take the word pagan. Today, many people hear that word and immediately think evil, godless, heathen, lost. But that was never its original meaning. The word comes from the Latin paganus, which simply meant a country dweller, a villager, a person of the rural lands, even a civilian. There was nothing evil about the word, nothing cursed, nothing demonic. It described ordinary people. Then something changed. As the Roman Empire adopted Christianity and Christianity became intertwined with imperial power, many rural communities continued practicing their ancestral traditions. Gradually, paganus stopped being merely a description of where someone lived and became a label for those who remained outside the new religious order. Do you see what happened? The people didn't necessarily change. The meaning of the word changed. And once the meaning changed, perception changed. That is how language becomes one of the most powerful instruments of influence. Change the definition, and eventually, you influence the mind. Influence the mind, and eventually, you influence behavior. As Christianity spread across Europe, later kingdoms, churches, and empires often continued using labels like pagan and heathen to distinguish those who followed older traditions from those who accepted Christianity. In different places in different centuries, those labels became part of the justification for religious conversion, conquest, seizure of land, and the suppression of indigenous beliefs. During the age of European expansion, similar language was also used in many colonial settings to portray non-Christian peoples as needing conversion, civilization, or rule. Words became more than descriptions. They became instruments of power. This is why I constantly remind people that words are not truth. Words are descriptions, labels, agreements between human beings. Reality itself does not answer to our vocabulary. The birds never call themselves birds. The trees never call themselves trees. The earth never called itself earth. Humanity created the labels, then forgot that we created them. Somewhere along the journey, we began accepting inherited definitions without ever asking, who gave this word its meaning? When did it change? Who benefited from that change? Those are the questions awareness asks. Exposing the history of a word is not about attacking the people who use it today. Most inherited these meanings without ever being taught where they came from. The goal is not condemnation. The goal is understanding. Because when you understand how language evolves, you also understand how language can be used to elevate, or to diminish, to include, or to isolate, to honor, or to shame. Imagine renaming a people. Imagine renaming their land. Imagine renaming their traditions. Then imagine teaching future generations that the new names were the originals. You have not changed reality, but you have profoundly influenced how reality is remembered. That is why recovering original names, original meanings, and original contexts matters. Not because words possess ultimate power, but because words shape imagination, and imagination shapes civilization. The deepest form of freedom is not memorizing more labels. It is developing the discipline to examine every inherited label before accepting it as truth. Never allow a word to become a prison around your mind. Ask where it came from. Ask how it changed. Ask who preserved its meaning and who transformed it. Humanity has been divided by names, religions, races, parties, and ideologies. Yet the wind still blows for everyone. The sun still rises for everyone. The earth still supports everyone. Reality has never accepted humanity's labels as absolute. Perhaps neither should we. Learn the words, but seek the truth beyond them. For words may describe reality, but they are never reality itself. Keperu Ma'at. Ashe.